part of the puzzle.
You've got guys with different experience levels.
Yeah.
So with somebody like Adrian Martinez, have you seen him at kind of the same retention level as somebody that has a little more experience?
Right now, it doesn't matter. You know,
Yeah.
I told them, Rome wasn't built in a day. I said, you got 2 days, so let's go, right? And they've all started from the same ground floor. Everything's new. I mean, just because of their experience didn't necessarily give them a leg up, because we all started from the same point, in terms of learning the language. And now, except for Noah, obviously, but everything else was pretty much the same. So, in addition to the other part of your question, I haven't noticed any difference with regards to that at all.
How are they doing preventing turnovers?
It's been good, and the ones that we did we've thrown 4 now and had a couple near misses. We go back and we look at why those occurred. So, for example, Andrew the other day in 7-on-7 threw one, and the reason was his ignorance of situation and contingency offense, so to speak. We were on the 20, the field shrinks. He tried to stick it in there. The free safety didn't have to drop as much, so he picked the post route. So we make sure we go back and look at why those things took place. Yeah.
4 in the whole camp?
We've thrown 4 too many. But 4, yes. And we've had 4, and then we had 3 near misses.
Is that pretty good? I mean, from your experience?
Well,
0 is ideal, but pretty good.
I don't want to tell them anything positive right now.
Right,
I want to keep the screws on them. It's horrible.
Is there a quarterback this stood out to you in understanding those situations?
Well, regardless of whether you're Pop Warner in the NFL, and I told the guys that this morning because we were coming into this sort of situation, is that no matter what your level, you can always get better at that. You know what I'm saying? The personnel group, the situation, the down and distance, all of those sorts of things can be as fine as possible. So they're learning that, because to get to your point, they are some young guys, so that experience factor is a little bit different than it would be, let's say, in high school. So they're that piece of the puzzle they have to have a tremendous appreciation for.
How do you coach the running part?
In terms of the run game or their speed factor?
Their run game. Like, when you talk to them about, here's how you run, how you get down, how you run a read.
Oh, the read part of it, the right zone
and then
option?
when they run the ball, like how they should run, like where they should go.
So for example, there's a couple times Andrew got free on the perimeter and then he wants to try to cut it back inside. That can be devastating for a young guy, I mean, we're not in high school football anymore.
Right.
So get what you can, get to the perimeter, and let the resultant force take its effect. So you're not taking it full brunt inside out. So that part of it, I understand what you're saying. On the option game, when it's ride zone with the pitch, same idea. Let's get to the perimeter. Coach Frost, Coach Walters wants us to attack the perimeter, and let's go get it, and don't worry about coming back inside where all the pain is, so to speak.
Have you ever watched when Frost played quarterback in Nebraska?
I did, and that was, let's say, maybe a little bit different style, but he was obviously,
he enjoyed contact.
Yeah, he was awesome, And one of the things we talked to the Cubes about, it's not that you're necessarily a scaredy cat and all that sort of business, but the fact of the matter is they do have pads that are smaller that are not necessarily designed to take that sort of force, But there are those situations, as you well know, in a must situation, you got to get the first. If you got to run the guy over, go run him over. Those sorts of things. So, but to answer your question, get what you can, man, and get going.
Do you kind of notice an atmosphere today when you have all these alums that are here? You have a junior day going on. Do you notice that as a coach? Or are you so locked into what you're doing?
No. And if you were to ask any of our quarterbacks at the former institution that I was at, and you asked them what day it was, no matter what practice day it was, they're going to tell you it's game day. And so before we left practice back at UCF, I would ask Sam, what day is it? And go around the room, it's game day. Because that mindset is so important. So for us, this play. Every day, every rep is so important to us, and that attitude. So that therefore we have these 15 practices, we have our 29 in fall. Our first game, hey, we've been through this before, so to speak, from an emotional standpoint. That answer your question?
Yeah, well, yeah.
Okay.
It's kind of a circus here.
What was that?
It's a circus.
Oh, well.
I mean, there's like 70 people here today, ex-Huskers,
Yeah.
parents, recruits.
Yeah.
Is that
No.
unique? I mean, is that something that?
Oh, you mean in terms of?
What you
Oh, well,
experienced in
yeah.
the
Well, I
past.
mean, we talked about this before. You know, the people in Nebraska and the fans and the players that come back. It's from that standpoint, it's as unique as you can get. You know. So yeah, there's that element that's exciting, but at the same time, there's that element where as a group of quarterbacks, we got to stay focused, no emotion. The time to get irritated with yourself or the time to celebrate is after the game of practice. Matter of fact, it happened to Tristan the other day in practice. There were 2 plays that were just not very good. You know, for whatever reason, the third play, boom, he throws a touchdown pass for about 60 yards. And that was a great teaching moment, which is consistent with how it goes during the course of the game. And I know Sam and I talked about Sip and I talked about this before. You know, so yeah.
Thanks, Coach.